And so this is what you should do in the real world, factoring in all the studies, having trained myself for decades and coached other people. And so this is what, in my opinion, is optimal for muscle growth. Coach Greg, and in today's video, how should you perform your reps? Fast versus slow. How many reps should you do? Should you be explosive? Should you control the weight on the way down? Should you do speed reps? And so in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly how you should perform your reps in order to build maximum size in the gym. Rep speed is extremely important, but it's often not talked about. Most of the time, people just say how many sets, how many reps, with no thought about how you're actually performing those reps. Recently, a client hired me, did his reps 7 seconds concentric, that's on the way up, and 14 seconds on the eccentric. Thought he'd get greater gains by really controlling the weight, extending the set, increasing time under tension. The problem is if you're performing your reps that slowly, you are going to sacrifice the load. You can't lift nearly as heavy a weight. With less weight comes less tension on the muscle and therefore less gains. Many people will argue you should be explosive when you're performing your reps. Go fast. Because if you go slow, your muscles primarily are going to use the slow twitch muscle fibers. But when you explode lifting the weight as fast as you can, you're going to use more fast twitch muscle fibers, the ones that seem to grow bigger. And so what's better? How do you build more muscle? Slow versus fast, the debate continues to this day. Another important point is that your muscles are approximately 30% stronger on the eccentric, the way down, than on the way up. And so if you're lifting the weights as fast as you can, there's not nearly the same tension or load on the muscle during the eccentric or elongation phase of the movement. And so in essence, if you're going extremely fast during every single rep, you're getting a lot of work on the way up, but you're neglecting to really tax the muscle on the way down. And during the eccentric phase, that is when the most amount of micro tears are being formed, which cause your muscle to get bigger. And if you factor in that the vast majority of people who are lifting in the gym are doing somewhere between 5 and 15 repetitions, if they go as fast as possible, their time under tension is going to be significantly diminished, not nearly long enough to maximize muscle growth. The next time you go to the gym, I want you to bring a stopwatch and start timing your sets. Do it at least once so that you get an idea of how long you're actually lifting the weight during each set. In timing your sets, you'll immediately find out, are your reps too fast and or too slow? And having done this myself, having coached many athletes and watched people at the gym, I'm going to tell you right now, the vast majority of people are lifting far too quickly. Your sets, they're not taking nearly long enough. A time under tension TUT of about 40 seconds or more is ideal for building muscle. Sure, you can build muscle with less time under tension, but you're certainly going to increase your risk of injury, and it's not going to be optimal. And so this is what you should do in the real world, factoring in all the studies, having trained myself for decades and coached other people. And so this is what, in my opinion, is optimal for muscle growth. And so what we're trying to do is get the best of both worlds. We're trying to optimize TUT, optimize being explosive, while also optimizing the mind-muscle connection, working the eccentric and concentric equally, and reducing our risk of injury. And listen, if you're a powerlifter or strongman competitor, this information, it does not apply to you. For optimal gains in those events, to get as strong as humanly possible, you want to maximize your explosiveness. You should be lifting the weights faster than last time. And so if you watch video of me doing sumo Guinness World Records, you're not going to see me slowly lowering the bar or lifting the weight with time under tension in mind. I'm trying to lift as many reps as humanly possible in the shortest period of time, but that is not ideal for building muscle. The most important factor is that you go slower on the way down, the eccentric lowering phase, Then on the way up, the concentric raising phase. And by that I mean the part that's easier, you should go slower. Ideal would be twice as slow on the way down as on the way up. And in other words, if it takes you 1 second to raise the weight, it should take you 2 seconds to lower it. If it takes you 2 seconds to raise it, 4 seconds to lower it would be ideal. The reason for that is your muscles are approximately 30% stronger during the eccentric phase than the concentric. And so by lowering the weight slower, you're forcing your muscles to work equally in both directions, concentric versus eccentric. But remember that example, the person who hired me, 7 seconds concentric, 14 seconds eccentric? That equals 21 seconds per rep. And so if that person did 2 reps, that's already over 40 seconds. That's a lot. And listen, it is extremely difficult to push yourself to failure and beyond when lifting that slowly. It is far easier for people, especially beginners and intermediate lifters, to lift the weight explosively than it is to control the weight. Controlling the weight, lifting slowly, using mind-muscle connection is hard. It takes years of dedication discipline to fully engage the muscle both eccentrically and concentrically. And so my advice, we want to optimize our fast twitch muscle fiber recruitment by lifting explosively during the concentric phase. But on the eccentric, we don't want to drop the weight quickly, as that would make the lift too easy. There would be no mind-muscle connection at this point. And since the muscles are stronger eccentrically, we lower the weight slowly at half the speed. And so consider this. You're doing the bench press, and when you press the weight up, do so forcefully. Try to get the bar up in 1 second. But on the way down, control the weight. Now, if you have really short arms, perhaps you're a T-Rex, and you can lift explosively, bars up in half a second. Well, then lower it for 1 second. That still demonstrates control. If you're lowering the bar at half the speed as you can raise it, you have control of the bar. You are not ego lifting, and that will prevent injury. And so half a second up, 1 second down, that's 1.5 seconds per rep. Now, to decide how many reps you need to do, take 40 seconds, divide by how long it takes to do each rep, and that is how many reps you should do for your set. Also, don't forget that you're likely going to pause for 1/2 second to really optimize that squeeze. Unless you're a powerlifter strongman, you are going to pause between each rep. It may not be a half a second, but if you want to minimize your injury and really get the most out of the movement, really squeeze the muscles hard at the top of the movement. And so in that example, T-Rex sprinting, exploding the bar off your chest. Half a second up, pause half, 1 second down, 2 seconds per rep. You should be doing 20 steps in order to get the proper time under tension. But for most people, probably slightly longer arms, 1 second up, pause half second, 2 seconds down. That's 3.5 seconds. And so in that example, 11 or 12 reps would be optimal to give you 40 seconds of time under tension. And so what I want you to do is time each and every one of your sets. Perhaps squats takes a lot longer. Perhaps it's 2 seconds up, 4 seconds down, 6 seconds per rep. Add to that a half second squeeze at the top. You only need 6 to 7 reps to reach 40 seconds of TUT. And so if you simply go to the gym and perform all your exercises, 12 reps, 3 sets of 12, all the exercises. You might be doing some exercises, for example, the bench press, in 20 seconds, while other exercises, for example, the squat, in a minute. And so rather than thinking all your sets should be 12, perhaps vary it a little. Vary your effort. Explode on the way up and control the bar on the way down. It doesn't have to be twice as slow eccentrically as concentrically, but it does need to be slower. You need to lower the weight slower than you raise it. And so the next time you go to the gym, really be conscious of how you do the reps. How fast are you going on the way up? How much control are you exhibiting on the way down? Are you pausing and squeezing the rep every single time? Or are you just going through the motions? Are you swinging up the bicep curl, letting it drop down, trying to ego lift? Oh, I'll put a plate on each side. Bang out 12 reps. Yeah, I did 12 reps in 12 seconds. So what? I did 50 pounds less than you, did 12 reps, mine took 3 times as long. Who do you think is making more gains? But just because you're controlling the weight doesn't mean you can't be explosive. Doesn't mean you have to ruin all your fun. When you're doing that preacher curl, really squeeze the bar up hard, harder than last time. Get angry, get mad, really power it up. But on the eccentric, really control the weight. Take twice as long to lower it. And so if you do this, power it up, lift explosively on the concentric phase, but then really use mind-muscle connection, control it on the way down. You will optimize your muscle building in the gym. And isn't that what we want? We're in the gym to maximize our gains. If not, just go and do what you want. Swing the weight every time. Don't count reps. Don't count the weight. Just go and have fun. Nothing wrong with that. But if you go to the gym and you want to get every bit of muscle out of the time spent, then you should be lifting as described in this video. Hopefully the video helped. Ending it here. Looking for harder than last time supplements to maximize your gains, including pre-workout pump, pre-workout stim, creatine, beta-alanine, G-Shred, G-Focus, protein powders, Ecti-Builder, GO2 Max, C-Co bars. You know what you want those. Also, training books, cookbooks, the Circle Diet Book, coaching plans by me and my team. Visit gregdoucette.com or htltsubs.com and please use code GREG. Save yourself 10%. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm, and until next time, I am out.